Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Delhi, cutting short his two-day state visit to Saudi Arabia after a terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, which killed 27 people.
का कत्लेआम बंद करो, बंद करो। इंसानियत का कत्लेआम बंद करो, बंद करो। इंसानियत का कत्लेआम बंद करो, बंद करो। हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हिंदुस्तान हमारा है। हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हिंदुस्तान हमारा है।
The Prime Minister was originally scheduled to return to India on Wednesday night. Prime Minister Modi is expected to now hold the meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security to review the situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Upon his arrival, the Prime Minister was briefed by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval on the Pahalgam attack. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar was also present in the meeting along with NSA. Earlier, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who is currently in Srinagar to take stock of the situation, briefed Prime Minister Modi about the terror attack. The Prime Minister asked Amit Shah to take all suitable measures and visit Pahalgam. The Home Minister to likely visit Pahalgam today. Now, in the worst terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir in recent times, a group of terrorists dressed in fatigues opened fire on tourists in Pahalgam's Baisaran meadow. This was around 2:30 p.m. local time on Tuesday. Gunshots were heard with witnesses saying terrorists walked out of the woods and started firing indiscriminately. Visuals from the site of the attack showed bodies lying motionless on the ground and women pleading for help.
मैडम आप कोई टेंशन मतलब हम साथ में। अरे मैडम ये प्रेसिडेंट साथ आया है, आपको किसी चीज का डर नहीं करना, हम साथ में। आपको किसी को क्या हुआ है, आपने क्या देखा है यहाँ पे? आपने आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली से मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे।
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
नहीं आप टेंशन मत लो, अब बेटा आप यहाँ पे रहो, हम साथ में। मैडम ये जो ब्रीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट, आप टेंशन मत लो।
Military choppers were pressed into service for the evacuation of those injured in the attack, as the area is only accessible on foot or on horsebacks. Security forces cordoned off the area soon after the attack and an anti-terrorist operation was launched. Sources said that investigating agency NIA, National Investigation Agency of India, is likely to take over the probe into the terror attack, and J&K police has launched emergency help desks for tourists. Bodies of 25 people killed in the terror attack have been brought to the police control room in Srinagar. The Home Minister is likely to visit PCR to meet the family members of those killed in the attack. The bodies will be taken to the respective states by flights. An officer from the Navy and another from the Intelligence Bureau IB were killed in the attack, and 2 foreign tourists and 1 local resident of Anantnag in Kashmir have also been killed.
भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय।
This was a tourist location, Baisaran, where tourists came from different parts of the country. 5 tourists were from Maharashtra. They lost their lives in the Pahalgam attack. 3 of them were from Thane's Dombivali area, including a senior section engineer from the Central Railway, Atul Muni. Then 2 people were from Karnataka, 1 from Shivamoga and another from Bengaluru. They were among the tourists who were killed in the terrorist attack. A victim identified as Bharat Bhushan was shot dead by the terrorists, while his wife Sujata and their 3-year-old son were spared. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah dispatched teams of officers to Jammu and Kashmir. Local residents in Jammu and Kashmir held candlelight march mourning the loss of innocent lives in the terrorist attack on tourists in Pahalgam. Several organizations have called for a complete shutdown in Jammu to protest the killings in Pahalgam, while schools will remain closed in Jammu and Kashmir today. Delhi is on alert after the terror attack. Delhi police has been instructed to keep a close watch on tourist places and other important places. Security has been heightened at religious sites in Uttar Pradesh as well. WION special correspondent Idris Loan is joining me live from Srinagar. Idris, you've been bringing us the details on the different fronts on which we have faced attacks. Of course, what happened in Pahalgam less than 24 hours ago. You also mentioned about the incursion attempt in Uri, where the gunfight is still on. Any further details that you can share on the situation as of now, security situation, and also the front in Uri?
Well, Shivan, there is a massive deployment of security forces across Jammu and Kashmir. We are standing right now outside the police control room in Srinagar, and as you can see behind me, the number of police personnel and paramilitary forces have been increased around the PCR as well. All the dead bodies of the victims who died in yesterday's Baisaran attack have been brought to the police control room, where the relatives of those tourists have also been brought in. We just saw a cavalcade of ambulances also being taken inside the PCR. What we are hearing from the ground right now is that the Home Minister will be visiting the police control room in some time, maybe within half an hour, 45 minutes. He'll be meeting with the relatives of those who have been killed in the Baisaran attack yesterday, after which we've also been told that the Home Minister will be going to Pahalgam. He will be taking a visit to the Anantnag's district hospital, where three of the victims are being treated in the Anantnag hospital. He'll be visiting them as well. From our sources, we're also catching up that he might take an aerial survey of the Baisaran area where the incident has taken place, but that has not been confirmed by any agencies at the moment. In the meantime, we've seen two major operations being carried out by security forces. One in North Kashmir's Uri, where a group of militants were trying to infiltrate into Kashmir territory, but the suspicious moment was seen by the security forces, the Indian Army, and there was a gun battle. There was a gun battle between the militants and security forces. The operation still continues. Security forces have definitely foiled the infiltration bid, but they've not recovered any bodies as of now, and they're saying the operation is still in progress. On the other hand, we've also heard reports that in Poonch there was a fire that came from the Pakistani troops towards the Indian posts in the forward areas of the Poonch district, however not confirmed by the Indian Army at the moment. So if we talk about the whole of Jammu and Kashmir, we're seeing that on the ground the security apparatus network has definitely been increased. Every nook and corner we are seeing there are barricades that have been put in place in Srinagar as well, especially on the route where the Home Minister will be taking from the Raj Bhavan to the police control room. We've also seen that all of the trade bodies, student bodies have condemned yesterday's attack, and they've also basically called for Kashmir Bandh. Shivan, I'll ask my cameraman to show you that we've seen one by one a lot of ambulances going inside the police control room. We are being told that there are 25 bodies that are presently in the police control room. They'll be flown to, they'll be taken to the Srinagar's international airport, from where they'll be flown to their respective residences. We're also being told that in some time the Home Minister will be visiting this place. That's why we're seeing a huge number of security presence in and around the police control room.
Idris,
across Kashmir Valley, condemnations all.
Yeah, I saw a number of ambulances going past right behind you, as you showed us on the camera as well. I just wanted to understand, as of now, again we're seeing another one going past. Of course, these are visuals. These ambulances would be taking the bodies now to the airport to take them back to the respective states, while the Home Minister will first come to the PCR in Srinagar. Is the Home Minister also expected now to visit Baisaran today itself, or what is the next plan of action in terms of the Home Minister's movement before we talk further?
Well, Shivam, at the moment, looking at the security presence in PCR, the Home Minister will be first visiting the police control room here, where the dead bodies have been kept. we're being told that 25 dead bodies will be flown from Srinagar airport today. Right now, the bodies are at the police control room. The Home Minister, the relatives of these tourists are also present. We saw a bus carrying all the relatives of these tourists being taken inside the PCR as well. They'll be meeting with the Home Minister Amit Shah in a while. We are being told that within half an hour, 40 minutes, he'll be basically arriving at the police control room. After that, we're also hearing that the Home Minister will be going to Anantnag, where he'll be meeting the injured people in the Anantnag's district hospital. Although it's not been confirmed yet, but we're also getting news from our sources that he will be taking an aerial survey of the Baisaran area where the incident yesterday took place, where these tourists were shot at. But that has not been confirmed from any of the security forces at the moment. On the other hand, as I said, that Kashmir, Jammu, both are observing a ban today. All the shops are closed, and there is a lot of movement right now also, Shivan. We see
you can show us around.
There is a lot of movement, commotion going on. As you can see, security forces are asking us to move on the sides. There are ambulances coming in, Shivan. If you see in your visuals, these are ambulances which are carrying more dead bodies from Srinagar's tertiary hospital, and they are now arriving inside the PCR. We can see that every ambulance, there are 1 or 2 dead bodies that are taken in, and these are the same ambulances afterwards. We can see the dead bodies, Shivan, inside these ambulances which are being taken in. A lot of ambulances, basically. There will be 25 dead bodies who will be taken out of the police control room today towards the airport. We've seen a huge contingent of ambulances being taken inside since last 1 hour, and we've been told that the Home Minister, after meeting the Home Minister...
Yeah, Idris, while we were speaking, I think we've seen at least 8 ambulances go right past you. You've shown that to us on the camera as well. And as you mentioned, these are carrying the dead bodies to the PCR in Srinagar. Is that, if we're understanding this correctly, and this is ahead of the arrival of the Home Minister? Okay, I think we've lost Idris there. Idris, just to repeat to our viewers, is giving us live visuals from outside the police control room in Srinagar. This is where ambulances could have been seen coming one after the other towards the PCR in Srinagar, where the Home Minister will be arriving to meet to meet the families of those who have been killed and the bodies before they are sent back to their respective states. We also know that an IB officer from the Intelligence Bureau, a naval officer, 2 foreign tourists, they were also killed in this dastardly attack, which happened less than 24 hours ago in Pahalgam, Baisaran picnic spot. As you can see, this is a picnic spot, viewers. This is a picnic spot, and vehicles don't reach this spot. People need to walk here on foot. They come here on horsebacks. The attackers knew who they were attacking. They were tourists. And the menfolk, as our correspondent also confirmed, they were singled out, identified, their religions were checked, they were asked to recite kalmas. When they were unable to do that, they were killed. They were killed in cold blood, they were killed point blank, shot dead. This happened at 2:30 p.m. local time. This is the location. As you can see in the background, you can see a dense forest cover. That is where these terrorists entered from. Absolutely heinous attack, the worst India has seen in recent times. Now, to discuss this further, I'm being joined live by Captain Alok Bansal, who's joining me from New Delhi. Captain Bansal, thank you so much for joining us here. He's the Director of India Foundation, Executive Director of the South Asian Institute for Strategic Affairs. Captain Bansal, of course, what has happened in Pahalgam, we have been seeing the reports, this heinous attack. We're seeing ambulance after ambulance, as our correspondent just showed shortly before you joined, crossing, going past him, going towards the PCR in Srinagar. This is shortly ahead of the Home Minister's visit to the PCR in Srinagar to meet the families of those who have been killed before the bodies are sent back to their respective states. But as I speak about the states, within Jammu and Kashmir, sir, apart from what has happened in Pahalgam, there are also reports of an incursion which was foiled and a gunfight which is still going on as we speak in Uri. And there's also unconfirmed reports of a ceasefire violation by the Pakistan Army itself in Poonch. And apart from this, there is also an alert which has been issued in Mumbai. give us a sense of what India is dealing with at this point. Is it more than just one attack that took place in Pahalgam less than 24 hours ago?
See, firstly, we should be very clear that this particular attack is a special attack. This is an attack on tourists which has not been done in the past because it affects the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So obviously the attackers had no interest of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir in mind. They were obviously acting at the behest of an external power, external agency which wanted them to attack at this point of time, which creates a news. The attack was carried out at a time when US Vice President was visiting India and Indian Prime Minister was on a very, very important visit to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So this very clearly shows that this particular attack was timed in a particular manner. The manner in which the tourists were targeted after identifying them, after identifying their faith, shows that the aim was to create a communal divide and accentuate it. They probably wanted a reaction from rest of India at a time when J.D. Vance is in India and Prime Minister Modi is in Saudi Arabia, to actually project India in a bad light. They wanted to show that India is not a stable country when trade talks had been initiated. So that's why we are seeing a persistent attack. And this must also be seen in the light of Pakistan's army chief's statement, where he has actually gone communal and talked about the divisive two-nation theory, saying that we are different from Hindus and we are this and that. So it immediately after that, a communal attack, an attack where people have been identified based on their faith and targeted, shows that there is an attempt by Pakistan's ISI to create trouble.
Captain Bansal, let me just come in here. Our correspondent had shortly confirmed to us just short while ago that apart from what we've seen in Pahalgam, now I just want to put it in a quick timeline. 2:30 p.m. This is the attack that takes place on the 22nd of April. Less than 24 hours later, and this is a short while ago from now, the incursion in Uri, the reports of those came out and the gunfight is still going on as we speak. And there are also unconfirmed reports in Poonch where the Pakistan army is also, as per sources, they have violated the ceasefire. Now, these are three different fronts, Poonch, Uri and Pahalgam, which we're already talking about. There are security alerts in different other states in the country as well. At this point, by the time that this Uri incursion was foiled by the Indian security forces, by that time, it was clear that the Indian Prime Minister is coming back, the Home Minister is already in Kashmir, and world leaders from across the world, they are condemning this attack brutally. But even then, these attacks are taking place on different fronts in Kashmir. Is Kashmir under attack at this point? Is this a multi-front attack on Kashmir? On India?
It is a multi-front attack on India at a time when they wanted to actually carry out and show India in a bad light, when it was an important time from India's perspective. And that's why we need to understand that as far as Pakistan's foreign policy vis-a-vis India is concerned, it is not controlled or made in Islamabad, but it is made in GHQ in Rawalpindi. And that is very clearly manifested after what Asim Munir said at a seminar. And now we are seeing its reaction. So there is not even an iota of doubt, at least in my mind, that this particular attack has been sponsored by an external agency, namely the ISI or one of its cohorts, at the behest of Pakistan's security establishment.
Captain Bansal, and now at this point, the question that we have all been wondering, how will India respond and how should it respond as per you?
Well, I think it is too premature to say something, but we need to find out who are the people who were responsible, and we should react. As far as ceasefire violation in Poonch is concerned, I think we are in a position to give them a befitting reply, not only in Poonch, but all along the line of actual control. And if they are trying to do an incursion, we could actually strike the terrorist camps across the line of control, and that can easily be done. And I'm sure before doing all that, I think in front of the global community, we will be in a position to show the credible evidence of these people having come from across the line of control. And that's not very difficult, because whatever I heard yesterday, that those people were talking in a Punjabi, they were not talking in Kashmiri. Some of the people who saw them, etc., have already clearly revealed as to what they were doing. So I think that should not be a problem. And I think it would be premature to
I appreciate what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But at this point, India needs to respond and give a befitting reply. That is something we unanimously agree upon. But at this point also, Captain Bansal, shortly before you joined us live, we were showing visuals of that region in Baisaran, that meadow. It's a gated area and it's covered with dense forests. Cars don't go there. People need to go there on foot. It is a tourist location. Anyone coming there opening fire knows who they are shooting on. They know they are not killing security forces. They know they are killing tourists who come from different parts of the country. At this point, they are trying, as per you, what do you feel? They are trying to instill fear in the entire country and also carrying out this attack when the Vice President of the US is in India and also shortly before the Amarnath Yatra. What kind of fear are they trying to instill and how far do you feel India is now going to respond to that?
See, as I said, their objectives were two, three. One was to instill fear, to show to the foreign dignitaries that situation is far from normal in Jammu and Kashmir, which has been for quite some time. In fact, people have been pursuing their agenda peacefully, and I think there have been elections, there is an elected government, everything was going on smoothly. So the first thing was to show to the visiting dignitary and to the foreign countries that things are not normal in Kashmir. The second, which is I think even more important from my point of view, I think their attempt to identify people and kill them was to elicit a response. They probably expected a communal violence in rest of India, and which would have been very suitable to justify the statement that was made by Asim Munir, which was, he was trying to talk about two-nation theory. He was talking of communal divide. He was expecting that there would be violence as a reaction in rest of India, which would show India in a bad light when dignitaries are visiting. And I think Indian population, Indian citizenry has shown its maturity by not reacting to that. The government of India, of course, will take actions. We will, I'm sure, Government of India will not leave the terrorists wherever they are. They will be eliminated and their sponsors will be targeted. So that I have no doubts as far as this is concerned, and we will take appropriate action. But what is more important is that the citizens of India need to show maturity and remain calm and composed.
Army Chief of Pakistan Asim Munir had tried to draw this comparison, and it's a divide, a communal divide, which led to the creation of Pakistan. And you see an extension of that ideology behind these attacks, identifying people who are not Muslims and then killing him in Pahalgam, in that deadly attack which has taken place, the worst we've seen in recent times. But at this point, as Captain Bansal rightly said, we need to be mature, wait for the security forces to carry out the befitting reply that India will now give. Captain Alok Bansal, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. We'll have more to discuss. Would love to have you on the broadcast again.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, we will be tracking those developments coming in from Jammu and Kashmir closely for you. As of now, we'll slip into a short break. News and updates continue on the other side. This is WION. I'm Shivan.